Hello everybody and welcome back. So this video, we're going to be answering the two questions on the screen. One, what is a function? And two, probably a little bit more important, why are they useful? Okay, so let's do it. First, what is a function? Let me illustrate this with a little example. Okay, so in this little circle, let's say these are x values. And what a function does is it takes x values or inputs, it does some math that we represent with this little arrow, and then it produces an output. And there is a stipulation that we're going to go over here really soon. Basically, this arrow is f, right? So here's what I'm trying to say. You pick x equals 3, you operate on 3 with f, and that produces a result. And let's just say the result is 8. Let's say that you operate on 4 and get 10. And then let's say that you operate on 6 and get 8. Okay, notice a couple things. Notice that the y value 8 is repeated. Also notice that f can act in an unpredictable way. Sorry, unpredictable. Maybe I should learn how to use the eraser. In an unpredictable way. Okay, so for example, x is 3, y is 8. You might expect x equals 4 to produce y equals 9, but it doesn't have to be that way. That's what I mean by that. Okay, and again, notice that the y value is repeated. Now, let's compare this with a different situation. So here's what I want to call situation 1. Now let's look at situation 2. Oops, I went down too far. Let's go up. Situation 2 now, okay? I'll put situation 2 right here. Situation 2, instead of 3, 4, 6, let's do 3, 4, 3 as my x's. Okay, and for the y's, let's see, let's keep it almost the same. 8, 10, let's see. Instead of 8, 10, 8, let's do 8, 10, 9. Okay, so you operate on f. I'm sorry, you operate on 3 with f, and that produces 8. You operate on 4 with f, and that produces 10. And then you operate on 3 with f, and you get 9. Is there a problem, right? Okay, Well, of course there is, right? If I operate on 3 and get the result 8, but then separately I operate on 3 and get 9, well, that's a problem because we have we have one input going to 2 different outputs. Okay? And so this is not allowed for a function. Okay, so to be very specific, to successfully have a function, to actually be talking about a function, each x value only maps to one y value. Okay, now so that's situation 2, and situation 2 has situation 2 is not a function, right? So not a function. Because of what we just talked about. Let's go back to situation 1. Situation 1, the y values are repeated, but at different x's. Okay, so, but at different x's, that's important. Okay. So here's the point, right? In order to have a function, it is completely okay for y values to be repeated as many times as you want. The only thing that we have to make sure of is that each x value only goes to one y value. Okay. So let's write this thing down. What is a function, right? Function. Function is a rule or mapping that operates on x values called the domain of f. So the domain is all the possible x values that a function can operate on. Okay, and produces, after it operates, it produces only one y value for each x in the domain of f. Okay, I'm going to put as a note here, y values can be repeated. Y values can be repeated so long as each y value, y values can be repeated so long as each x only belongs to one y. Okay? Now, just for a moment, let's think about something practical. Let's think about like a pin, right? So I'll be super simple. Let's say this little dot represents a pen or a pencil that's in your hand. And let's say that you start moving it with time. Maybe you're writing something, maybe you're just being goofy and you're just kind of moving a pen all over the place for some reason. And so you move, let's say as time goes, you move the thing up and down and up some more and down some more. So we're just moving a pen right now. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with anything that I'm doing here. Okay, and again, we're thinking about time going this direction. Now, let's think of the same situation. Let's say I have my pen here. Let's say this is my pen. And again, time is going in this direction. What if I have something like this? Okay, if the y value, let's say the y value is the height of the pin, and then the x-axis is time, then what this means is that the pin is in two different places at the same time. And we know that that can't be possible. Okay? The pin cannot be in two places at once, which is why we restrict, which is why for a function, we only allow each x value to only go to one y value. Because if we didn't make sure that that doesn't happen, then we'd have stuff like this. We would have situations where the pin is in two places at once, and that's not useful for anybody. So this kind of thing is really why functions are actually useful. Functions are used all over the place in physics and in every form of engineering that you can imagine, because they automatically guarantee that, if you're keeping track of the location of something, that thing can only be at one place at any given time. So there's that.